Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to another installment on this day with Christy. Hi, I'm Christy. That being said, today is Friday, May 22nd, 2028. No, 2026. Whoa, our time band just jumped ahead a little bit there. Anyhow, this being Friday, we're going to recap what we talked about on Monday and Wednesday, and then learn stuff about today. So let's get started. On Monday in 2017, we covered grunge icon Chris Cornell when he dies at age 52 from a hanging himself while on tour. He was best known as the frontman for Soundgarden, and he was a force to be reckoned with in the local scene beginning in the mid-80s. In 1994, Soundgarden rose to international fame with their fourth album, Super Unknown, which featured their signature hit Black Hole Sun. Beyond Soundgarden, the three-time Grammy winner enjoyed a successful solo career, while he was also the frontman and founder of Temple of the Dog with members of Pearl Jam, and served as lead vocalist in the supergroup Audioslave. In 1980, 23-year-old Joy Division frontman Ian Curtis took his own life just one day before the Manchester band was set to do their North American tour. The group only released two albums, 1979's Unknown Pleasures and Closer, which arrived 2 months after Chris's death. In 1993, Janet Jackson set new first-week records sales with her fifth studio album, Janet. Her first LP to debut at the top of the Billboard 200, Janet sold 350,000 copies in the first week, more than any other title by a female solo artist at the time. 1975, country star Tammy Wynette topped UK pop chart with Stand By Your Man. The enduring hit was originally recorded and released in the US in 1968, where it spent 3 weeks at the top of the Billboard country chart and peaked in the Hot 100's top 20. The song has since become a country standard. In 2008, Manchester pop duo The Ting Tings scored their first UK #1 single with That's Not My Name. The breakout hit, which appeared there in their debut album, was a global sensation, selling more than 1 million digital copies, landing in the top 10 across Europe and Australia, and peaking in the US top 40. On to trivia. Factoids, sorry. On to factoids. Today, on May 18th, it was Visit Your Relatives Day, as well as No Dirty Dishes Day, or as I can call it, Paper Plate Day. Yeah, I know that was a dumb joke, but I have to do it when I can. We started in 2025. JJ from Austria claimed victory at the 69th Eurovision Song Contest with his debut single, Wasted Love. In 2017, Chris Cornell, American musician of Soundgarden, Audioslave, committed suicide at age 52 by hanging. In 1991, northern Somalia declared its independence, becoming unrecognized de facto Republic of Somaliland. And In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Tennessee Valley Act to build dams. This was signed to provide economic development to the Tennessee Valley, an area affected by the Great Depression. We go to 1927. The Chinese Theater was opened in Hollywood, California, built in an exotic revival style architecture. Next, we went to 1804. We're really pushing our time machine here. Napoleon Bonaparte was declared the Emperor of France by the French Senate. Which brings us to 1803. Britain declared war on France after Napoleon Bonaparte continued interfering in Italy and Switzerland. Don't mess with Italy or Switzerland. They'll mess with you. On to Wednesday. Next, our magic van takes us to factoids and 19. Yes. What the hell? Oh, sorry. Okay, factoid, redo. We travel on Monday, May 20th to 2016, and the British phonographic industry announced that UK artists account for 1 in every 6 albums sold worldwide. The announcement followed the success of acts like Ed Sheeran, One Direction, Sam Smith, and Adele, whose third album, 25, sold 17.4 million copies in just 6 weeks and broke numerous records around the globe. Next, we travel to 2012. 62-year-old songwriter, singer, and Bee Gees co-founder Andy Gibb lost his battle with cancer. Along with his brother, Gibb rose to fame in the late 60s with hits like To Love Somebody and Massachusetts. While the following decade, the Bee Gees helped make the disco music global phenomena with their Saturday Night Live soundtrack. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, Saturday Night Live. Ugh. Yes, I'm here, I promise. My brain, we could be anywhere at this point. In 2013, classic rock mourned the death of 74-year-old keyboardist Ray Manzarek. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer co-founded The Doors in 1965 alongside Jim Morrison, Robbie Krieger, and John Densmore. In addition to his work with the influential LA group, Manzarek co-founded Night City and later formed Manzarek Krieger with his former bandmate. In 2007, with their heavy metal anthem Hallelujah, Lordi became the first Finnish act to win the Eurovision Song Contest. Next, we take our magic van to factoids on Wednesday. May 20th was known as World Bee Day and Pick Strawberries Day. Excuse me. Dead air. Dead air. Oops. Come on. In 2015, the U.S. Air Force Space Command launched the Boeing X-37B spaceship for a classified mission. Mission USA 261 was the second launch of the second Boeing X-37B, a reusable robotic spacecraft that launched vertically atop a rocket and returned to Earth horizontally as a space plane. In addition to flying a classified mission, the spacecraft carried a NASA payload of materials to test their exposure to space. Next, we traveled to 2013. The Church of Scotland voted in favor of openly gay men and women to be ministers. In 1980, Quebec held a referendum whether to begin negotiations with Canada to become independent. In 1979, Elton John and his entourage flew into Moscow, making him the first Western pop star to tour the USSR. In 1972, Hard Job Being God, a Broadway musical, closed at the Edison Theater in New York City after only 6 performances. In 1932, Amelia Earhart took off from Newfoundland. When she left, she took a copy of the Telegraph Journal as proof of the date of her flight. After a flight lasting 14 hours and 56 minutes, she landed in Northern Ireland. This made her the first woman to fly solo and non-stop across the Atlantic. In 1891, the first public display of Thomas Edison's prototype kinetoscope was shown to members of the National Federation of Women's Club. And lastly, in 1873, Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis patented the first blue jeans with the copper rivets on the pockets. Next on our stop is today, Friday, May 22nd. Now, on to today. 1976, Paul McCartney and Wings began a 5-week run at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 with Silly Love Songs. The single, which marked the former Beatles' 5th #1 as a solo artist, was written in response to taunts by critics he wrote lightweight love songs. McCartney, however, had the last laugh. Not only did the song rank as the biggest hit of the year in the US, but it also gave him the record for the most #1 singles ever by a songwriter. 27 to be exact. In 1993, Swedish pop group Ace of Base scored their first #1 hit in the UK with All That She Wants Is Another Baby. Anyway, The song was also topped the charts in more than 10 countries, including Canada, Australia, and Italy. In the US, it peaked at #2 and became one of the best-selling singles of the year. That was a good song. In 2004, on his 45th birthday, Morrissey returned to Manchester for his first hometown show in 12 years. All 18,000 tickets to the MEN Arena concert sold out in 90 minutes. On to factoids. May 22nd is Harvey Milk Day and Golf Day. In 2021, Italy won the 65th edition of the Eurovision Song Contest with Måneskin's Zeti e Buone. In 2015, Hollywood superstar Dwayne Johnson set a Guinness World Record for the most selfies taken in 3 minutes. Dwayne captured 105 selfies on the red carpet at the world premiere of his new film, San Andreas. That was a pretty good movie. In 1995, two new moons of Saturn were found in photos from the Hubble Space Telescope by astronomers Amanda S. Bosch and Andrew S. Rivkin. In 1980, Namco installed the first Pac-Man arcade machine in Shibuya, Tokyo. This iconic game was released as Puck-Man based on the character's resemblance to a hockey puck. However, when the game came to North America, Namco rightly feared that people would vandalize machines that turned Puckman into something a little less PG-13, so they changed the name to Pac-Man. In 1942, Mexico declared war on Nazi Germany and Japan. In 1939, the Pact of Steel was signed on an agreement between Fascist Italy and Nazi Germany. And lastly, in 1906, the Wright brothers were granted a patent to fly for their flying machine after applying for it 3 years earlier. It's on to trivia. Put on your hats, your thinking caps, and we'll go back into the magic van and see how many brain cells we lost. First question. What's the capital of Canada? Answer, Ottawa. Hold on, the wheel's still spinning here. What country has the most islands? Answer, Sweden, with 270,000. That should have been my next question. Oh. Question, how many European capitals does the Danube River flow through? Answer, 4. Bonus question. In what capital would you find the Little Mermaid statue? Answer, Copenhagen. Next, let's hop out of our our thinking caps and put on our party hats because it's time for birthdays. 1924, Charles Aznavour. 1950, Bernie Taupin. 1955, Mary Black. 1959, Morrissey. 1962, Jesse Valenzuela. 1966, Johnny Gill. And 1981, Sue Elise Nash. So, if it was your birthday today, or even this weekend, have a great birthday. You can catch us here 7 days a week with Brian Rockstone on WCDI. And don't forget to check out the Top Rope Report every Sunday and Wednesday. Have a great weekend, y'all. Ciao.